case, the ideology is sort of gathered by the history after the war and even before, during the Japanese colonial time. A lot of communists, they believed they need to build a nation first. So they turned out to be communist in the old time. And also another thing is there was a strong debate about the presidential system and the time, the period. President was elected certain time, and during his presidency, there's a general elections. So whoever becomes the president need to be assessed during his presidency. And so there's a strong debate about this. Losers of the presidential election, who would be opposition parties, do not accept as they are loser. That's what happened during Nomuyon or Kim Dae-jung administration. The GNP, Grand National Party, did not accept they are the opposition party because they had majority of support during the general election, and they also had bigger seats in the legislature. Then again, when the president wins, his small minority government becomes the winner. So they faced the presidential impeachment in 2004. And now, finally, the GNP gained the power, win the office, but the then ruling party, now opposition parties, do not accept the presidential elections loss, probably. So in a way, I see the candlelight vigil was sort of victory of opposition parties, having their wide voice.
I think Dr. Lee had a comment?
Thank you. I do agree that digital factor is an increasingly important factor in the Korean politics and Korean community and Korean society in general. So at the same time, I'm a little bit concerned about whether the digital factor really truly reflects the whole spectrum of the Korean opinion leaders' view in a particular issue, particularly when it comes to a very volatile issue such as BIP issue or FTA. Because you just mentioned the digital era has indeed come in Korea, but it's mainly focused on the young generation or certain focus group in Korea. So you can say generally that Korea has been very closely networked or wired across the country. But it could be another, for us to say that the views expressed on the internet or the views delivered by some netizen leaders are reflecting the majority view of the Korean society in a particular issue. So I think the opinion leaders, the conservative views, or major opinion leaders in Korea are not so well equipped with the mechanism to access the digital communication, including the government. So it's a very volatile issue. When we talk about a very volatile issue such as FTA or beef, maybe the views of the whole spectrum will not be adequately reflected when we simply look at the discussions of the internet. And the second thing is that the reason probably the government failed in responding to these issues are probably because there's nothing for a government to do in that kind of situation. All you can do probably is to simply, post a statement in the government website that that's a rumor, that's not true. That's not the government's position. That's not what we hear from America. So that's all the government can do. The government cannot go, all the internet websites and respond to all the rumor statements in the website. So when it comes to digital populism, I guess probably there's not that much for a government to do in responding to these issues. So maybe the combination of the two may have led to the beef fiasco, beef debates in Nepal. But overall, I do agree with your observation about the Korean society's problem, or maybe strong point, through the digital populism.
I would echo Dr. Lee's point and pose the question of: do you think that would the system be able to regulate itself if the government fought fire with fire and tried President-elect Obama's strategy of appointing a chief technology officer to mount a similar style campaign, or at least as much activity formally in the government?
I think they do already.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I haven't met anybody yet, but they even hire commenters on the website, saying positive things.
Really?
Yeah. So next time when I go to do field work in Korea, I'm going to meet these part-time commenters. But I think in a way, South Korea achieved democracy in 1987, which was electoral democracy. And in a way, democracy itself has very relatively short history. I think citizens are learning. And after this, especially with the candlelight visuals, probably they would not believe whatever is online, not everything. They are still learning, and I think even politicians, even myself, everybody's in the learning procedure, I think.
Yes, Rob.
Yeah, so I can follow up. I'd like to take this one step farther. In the aftermath of what was a real collision due to digital populism with the government. Now, as I recall it, President Yi has apologized twice for this quick decision on the beef issue, and he worked out a compromise to try to meet some of the criticism that was coming from the Korean public. And as far as I can see, it's died down. So perhaps there is a way to manage this type of outburst. I don't know whether his popularity is going up much. It certainly plummeted during the attack. The second thing is, I'd like for you not only to comment about the aftermath, but also the anti-American tone. I have talked to a number of Korean people who said this was not anti-American. It was anti-beef. It was against the government for acting rashly without consulting adequately, doing something that should have been handled with the National Assembly and so forth. But clearly there was an anti-American tone, and I'd like you to comment on that too.
As I mentioned before during the presentation, I named this populism because there's a strong mentality on homogeneous group society, having fear of foreign influence, having fear of being oppressed by foreign enemy in their time, because they did have experience of already during the Japanese colony, or even all the long period of Korean history. They've been attacked so many times from foreign enemies. So I think that if I look back all the candlelight visuals in 2002, and also you saw strong nationalist behavior during World Cup 2002, and when everybody went out wearing red, people were very amazed. They were very happy to see collective activity. But to be honest, I was a bit feared. I was a bit scared to see the collective activism there when everybody comes out on the street. Can we see that anywhere else?
So do you have comments on the anti-Americanism portion?
Yes, I mean, the rumor, if I see in 2002, spread against American army because there were sort of records of American soldiers not behaving properly, that was the crimes were related with rape and some hooligans behavior attacking ordinary citizens. But then again, U.S. Military rule sentenced as not guilty, or many Koreans believe that was not fair. And especially with, but then again, I see that was unfair rumor, because I tried to track down what happened during the 2002 U.S. Army vehicle